Hey, all you Robin, everyone loves the Drake fans. We're back here for another episode of our continuing coverage of Knightquest, the Crusade. This time we've got Detective Comics number 672, where they put the Detective Comics real small, featuring even smaller, and then Batman really big. And here we go, another awesome Kelly Jones cover. Love this cover. I was about to say it's probably one of the more realistic looking covers until I looked at kind of Robin's leg right there. It's maybe, how does he bend his body that way? But is it really even Robin? We'll find out. Really awesome as-bats. I can't find Kelly Jones' distinctive signature anywhere, and I'm thinking it was blocked. It was covered up by the barcode here. But again, Dixon, Nolan, Hanna, and that was three names we saw a lot of on Batman comics in the 90s. And so I got Batman and Robin here running towards the comic, helping us review it. If you hear a little snoring in the background, my dog sleeping. Got my Batman PJs on for this one. So let's take a look. This one starts off right where 671 left off. You got Asbats. He's at the college, and he thinks it's the girl from the movie that the Joker's shooting. I love the title, Smash Cut. That's really cool. And he's shocked to see Robin. And then we get a little like in this scene here, we get Batman going to save Robin, and he kind of talks about why he sent Robin away, and that the boy is a nuisance, and that he's not moving, he could be dead already. And here we see Joker, and I love this because if you look at his hat, it's like a Batman hat with the knot symbol or through it. And if you were alive in the early 90s, you saw a million people walking around with that Batman hat. So it's kind of funny. And so here Batman saves Robin, and what we soon learn is that it wasn't Robin, it was the young lady who he saved the other day. And I can't remember her name. It's got to be in here somewhere. And I think this might have been the first time I'd seen a woman in a Robin costume. Now you kind of see it all the time in Halloween and stuff, but I remember that was kind of striking. And now he realizes that the uniform is kind of shoddy made. You can see that's not even very good. So Batman kind of takes off, and here once again, greatest thing about these comics in the 90s, the coloring. I love how Roy does that, like all red. She just knew how to use the limited palette that was available at the time to its just fullest extent. So as Bats takes off, there he is going there. Joker, I love this Joker too. It's a really good mix of like the 60s, 70s Joker and the more modern, 2000s Joker right there in the 90s. He doesn't look too ridiculous, but he still has that classic look. And he's not happy. So Joker decides he needs some more money. So we get the producers come, and he kind of threatens to kill various producers. And I like how the head guy just doesn't care. Well, her, we can get another one. But when the gun is pointed right to his head, then he decides to advance some more money for the Joker, and we'll find out what the Joker is going to do with this money in a little bit. And here, this is kind of unique to see Jean-Paul Valley at the Bat computer. You don't think of him, doing that research and the detective work as much. And it's kind of interesting to see that on the Bat computer for the Joker, they've even got some Red Hood stuff. And he says, the Joker's file is the most extensive one here. And then here again, Jean-Paul Valley, a couple issues ago, he was a college student, a young guy. And there he looks middle-aged, so I had a little issue with that. But I like this too. He hopes to get 4 hours of sleep, so who doesn't? And here we go. If you're wondering what was going on with Tim Drake at that time, here's the ad for the not the Cry of the Huntress, I'm sorry, the Huntress team-up story. It's sort of like the sequel to the Cry of the Huntress, so that was going on at the same time. Then we got a little reveal here, kind of the police are looking at this poster, the newspaper's looking at this poster, the Joker showing the poster. So what's on the poster? And it's the advertisement for the Death of Batman Joker movie, and I'm guessing that's from a movie, maybe Godfather or something. I don't know. If you know what movie that is, let me know. And it's funny here how many times the Joker puts himself in the credits. It's kind of, if you've seen Mr. Bean's Holiday, this kind of has that same joke. And it's got some kind of funny one-liners in here about like, I give it 4 stars, don't hit me again, and you've got to see this movie, my life depends on it. That's pretty funny. And so here, the Joker, what does he use this money for? Weapons, to get more people to kill Batman. And then we see the bat signal over a snowy Gotham City. The commissioner is waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and Montoya comes up there, and they realize that Batman just never comes, and that's so cool. The bat symbol in Jim Gordon's glasses, I love that. And now you can see Gordon's trying to think like, has he changed? What's happened since Bane? And it's like, come on, dude, it's a different guy. But here we don't see this a lot during Knightquest, but Jean Paul does some undercover work here, kind of as himself out of the suit. You don't see much of him out of the suit. You see a lot sometimes in the cave with his helmet off or something, but here he is full on, and he goes to the hospital to see how Cindy Brooks, that's her name, how she's doing, and she's been discharged already to someone named Alan Smithy, and it's spelled Smithee, and he knows that that is an old-time kind of thing that they do in movies if a writer or director does not want to take credit for their work because it's so bad, they use that name instead. So he somehow pieces together that that means Joker's at the old movie studio. But the police fall for the trap because on the poster it says coming soon to the Manchester Majestic Theatre. So the police, there's some more cool coloring, they head over to the Manchester Theatre, and turns out to be, there's a lot of gunfire there. It's awesome coloring again. But it just turns out to be a ruse where Batman knows to go to the main studio. Here it gets a little silly because he hears her voice, Cindy's voice, coming from this like wheelchair thing. So he runs to it, and it's just a mannequin. But then it's a trapdoor with alligators. And I was like, ugh, really? But then the alligators are just movie props. So that was a little more. But then it's weird because then he gets up and you hear this Gargantua's coming. And all of a sudden he's in like a Godzilla scene. It's like, how did you not see that when you came in? And where was that? Because it doesn't appear to be in the background here. So this was a little like, oh, okay, this was getting a little silly. And then this giant Godzilla foot almost steps on him. And now here's where I have some issues with this issue, so to speak. Everything's fine. I can even buy all this stuff. It's kind of silly and all that. But then, all right, Batman gets hit with a pie. All right, that's cool. That's funny. That's kind of Jokerish. And then there's these people here throwing them, and Batman decides to shoot his, I guess, I forget what he called him. It's some Japanese name for the batarangs here. And he hits, I guess, Joker. But then Batman, he kind of gets woozy, falls to the, I guess on the table, and then says that, oh, the pies are drugged, so he passes out. Now, how on earth did drugged pies affect him? He's wearing full body armor. He's wearing a helmet. So how on earth did those seep through his full body armor into his skin to drug him and knock him out? That just kind of seemed a little much. But anyway, kind of go back to the police real quick just to see that it was all just a gun set up for them. And then we end up here that Batman is tied up, and I guess that's Cindy. She is in some kind of tank where she's going to die. And then we get a little bit of this movie reference. I got Casablanca with of all the gin joints in all the world, you walked into mine. And man, that is cool. That is Humphrey Bogart, or Joker as Humphrey Bogart. Rob always talks about wanting a poster. That would be a cool poster. That is a cool Joker look. That needs to be like with the purple gloves and everything. We need Casablanca Joker action figure desperately. And then in this issue, it was just a one-page on Detective Comics or Detective Comments. And then Star Trek, when DC used to have the Star Trek title. And wow, T2, this is getting old. But anyway, so I'm going on. I want to keep this under 10 minutes. So that is Knightquest, The Crusade, Detective Comics 672. And we'll see, I think next time is the conclusion to the Joker movie story. See you next time.